I remember knocking on my friend's house one day. I had a tan jumper on, and he come to the door, and he's like, I thought it was an invisible man at the door, you know? And I'm like, raw.
If you're a different racial profile from either of your parents, it's very difficult, you know. They're both monoracial, and talking to my dad when I eventually found him, I think he kind of got it. He got the racism I was experiencing, but not this idea of belonging in two places, you know. So I think that's something that we have to figure out.
Biracial. Of, relating to, or involving members of two or more races. Today at the Battersea Arts Centre, two biracial people share their views and experiences of living in the UK.
A boy was living close by him for some reason. He started calling me a panda and stuff. So that was my first real incident as 9 years of age, I think, which is quite hard to deal with really at that age. You're thinking, what? But growing up with a white mum, she was very encouraging to let me know where my roots lay as well. I always had like that black side as well as my white side of the family as well. Yeah, exactly, neither of them would have had that because they're not biracial.
I was the only brown kid on the block. My mum just didn't know what to do with my hair, what to do with my skin. I mean, my mum was amazingly brave, don't get me wrong. I mean, she was kicked out of home, ended up in an unmarried mother's home. In the 50s and 60s, they used to force young women to give up their children for adoption. And they said to her, you're very unlikely to get this kid adopted because everyone wants a kid that looks like them, and all the people who walk through these doors are all white with blue eyes and they don't want a kid like that. So she knew that I was going to end up in a home. As I say, in my memoir, I went and found my dad and found my roots, and that's a massive spoiler for anyone who wants to read it, but never mind. I hungered for that part of my life that I didn't know, and I wanted to have that connection.
When I was in Roehampton, anyway, I was just ordering my food, and next minute, the police came in and put handcuffs on me. I was like, where did this come from? Like, looking for a Somalian person who had like a hat on and black jeans. I don't fit a Somalian description, you know, but to them, I am Somalian now, you know. Really, I'm mixed race. So again, it's just the judging, and they haven't even like got a criteria for what who you are. You haven't been identified still. You're just classed as a black person. It's experiences like that. You just think, wow, when is this going to stop?
And you know, the very first people that I met who did look like me was just opposite here. There was a hairdresser called Hair Paradise, and it was actually run by an albino, well, they called them West Indian, but he was Jamaican. And he told me the politics of black hair. So it had been 1972.
Yeah, my main core of friends are black or mixed race. I do have some close white friends as well, but I'll probably say the main core of them are from black origin. I kind of identify myself as a black person, even though I am mixed race. That's only because of the experiences I've had growing up and through my childhood, that people see me as a black person.
It's only very recently, maybe in the last 6-7 years, that I started hanging out with mixed race activists. So I would say that I've got at least 3 identities in terms of my racial profile. I'm black, I'm white, and I'm mixed. And all of those I hold in my own body. And when you do that, I think as a mixed race person, you have the facility to hold contradictions. I say at the end of my book that maybe wholeness as a human being is about holding multiple contradictory identities in your head at any one time. I would say first and foremost, you know, don't let others try and judge you. You got to be, you got to love yourself first and foremost, whatever race background you're from. That's the most important thing, loving yourself. I'd advise anyone to go from a mixed race background to go and see where one of their parents, wherever they're from, to go and visit and just experience and see, my mum or dad grew up here. It's a nice feeling.